Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I know it's been a while, but I'm still working. Even though I'm not posting, I promise you I'm working. Random talk today. I just talk about stuff this before you get to politics and debating about politics. This is just totally um, a freestyle. No notes, no script. Just about life. If I'm talking to the younger version of me, if I'm talking to that 15, 16, 17, probably all the way up to 25, before you get into politics. My boy Osiris Bali, shout out to Bali. He made a post saying we got to find a way to get into talk about politics. I agree. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to hear us make some content on politics from what we know. I'm not no career politician. I'm not gonna sit here and claim like I know everything because I don't. But what I will say is before you get into the pool of politics, because it's a very deep, like the ocean, it's a vast amount of information for one person to digest. It's really vague when you say politics because it could be a lot of things. But let's talk about before you get into politics. Some people may say you were born into politics, whether you believe it or not. But I'm going to talk about it from how I saw things when I was a teenager. Um, I'm not saying I knew everything. I'm just saying things that I saw, took note of, and kind of used it to navigate. Peel might be coming in today with. I know he got some stuff going on. I'm just. I really want to start making content about the different angles of politics that regular people see, especially local politics. Like some people watch CNN and think they know politics, but there's way more to it than that. Matter of fact, if there's any politicians that's watching this, would love, we can do StreamYard, we can do in person to just have a conversation to get people to start to get some kind of grip or understanding of what the different aspects of politics are. Because there's so many aspects. It's not just one thing. It's many things that make up politics, right? Shout out to my boy Mel. We finna get together, make some content that talks about politics on regular people, everyday working people level. I think one of the hardest things as a regular working person is to try to balance life, bills, family, and then trying to keep up with politics, which is a vast majority of information to try to retain. You want to go to these meetings, but the meetings are when you get off work or when you're picking up your kids. You want to be involved in politics, but you're focused on making sure that you're surviving, paying bills, and getting through week to week, month to month, year to year. We're going to talk about those things. But what I want to talk about today is before you get into politics, before. And when you're 15, 16, 17 in that range, you have to find a path to go down. Find your purpose, find a path, find your skills. You have to learn about who you are. Are you a hands-on person? Are you a salesperson? Are you a tech person? Are you a mechanical person? Are you an academic person? Are you a tradesman? journeyman, all those things. You have to find something that makes sense, something that's legit, something that you can build time in to increase your value. And the best time to start is when you're young. When I was growing up, I don't remember if it was, I don't remember. There was no Harbor Freight when I was in 10th grade, unless I just didn't know about it. I don't remember a Harbor Freight when I was in 10th grade where you can buy like real tools that construction people use or mechanics and at a much lower price than going to Home Depot or Lowe's. You can do that. Let's say if you want to do body work, you can go to Harbor Freight and buy a little bit at a time, or you can buy it all at once. But you can buy body work tools, you can buy a paint gun, you can buy an air compressor, you can get air hose, and it's not as expensive as buying it from Home Depot. Now, sometimes with Harbor Freight, we got to be honest, it may not last, it's not going to last forever, but it will get you started, right? It'll get you started. So, one thing I noticed when you live in the inner city, before you get into politics, is learning how to generate not just income, but how do I generate cash? How do I produce something that somebody would give me X amount of dollars for? Is there value in this product that somebody would give me X amount of dollars for? Different, when they say demographics, you learn about these things. Different areas value different things. I know they say you shouldn't stereotype, but business is another animal. Different areas value different things. Some areas don't value tech as much because when the median income is only $40,000 a year, you don't have a lot of room to do extra things. Like tech is considered an extra luxury. It's not considered a necessity, even though it's starting to become a necessity. But for the most part, it's still not. But you have to find ways to get into these things and learn these things, sometimes at a low budget entry level point. Many ways to do it. But before you get into politics, you got to understand that cash, how can you generate cash? What do you have in your arsenal that you can generate cash? No, make cash money. Sometimes to do it, it may be regulations involved. It may be licensing involved. You have to be able to navigate through those things. There are some things that you can sell, make cash, that you don't need any regulation. It haven't got to that point yet. So think about that. There used to be a time that there wasn't regulation for food trucks. Now it is. You can make, this is just my opinion, and let me know in the comments what you think. You can make cash if you have value and not even be involved in politics. I've seen it before. See it now all the time. You probably don't even realize it. There are people that cut trees and they only accept cash. And because their value is so high, they're only charging, oh, not even only, but they're charging $1,000, $1,500 a tree. And you may get 3 trees cut. And that's $3,000 cash. Then they go to another house, another 3,000, another house, another 3,000. They may make $12,000 a day cutting trees in a day. Is it work? Sure. But you have to find a way to make the work easy and efficient. It's another thing. Before you get into politics, find something that your skills allow you to do, and you learn how to make it efficient. Do it over and over. Wash, rinse, repeat. Do the same thing over and over. It's not easy as it sounds, but you got to understand the concept. Another thing before you get into politics, you have to understand that while you can march and protest, nothing wrong with that. Financial power is what has the loudest volume. Financial power is what has the loudest volume all day, every day. I didn't make the rules. They were there before I got here. I was born in 83. Those rules was there before I even got here. Sometimes people get emotional when you start talking about how money changes things, how the rules are different when you have money. And it's true. But you got to ask yourself, what can I do to generate cash? So there are some people that operate up under, like if politics is here, they're down here and they're operating at the lower level. They're not, even though some people say they get touched, you still get touched by politics, but if you're making cash money, and a lot of times cash don't leave a paper trail. Imagine, like say, use the tree example, cutting trees, right? Somebody want a tree cut, they giving you $3,000 cash. Then you go to another house, they give you $5,000 cash. If most of the time, if somebody gives you cash, it can't be traced. There is no paper trail. In some industries, like with trees, unless they got regulation now, but most of the time, people are finding those side hustles that somebody will give you cash for, and it's not reported. It's possible, but you run the risk of being audited, and it'll hurt you before it hinder you. But before you get into politics, you got to find out what works for you first. You got to find out what you're good at first. You got to find out what separates you from another person first. What's the difference between you and another person? Not from a comparison standpoint, but to know what your skill sets are. Like if you're consistent, that can separate you from another person. Being consistent, being reliable, that can separate you from another person because you're reliable. Being a problem solver instead of a problem complainer will separate you from another person. These are those little tangible skills that you need to learn while you're growing as a teenager. Instead of focusing on the problem, focus on the solution. Sometimes the solution is so obvious, but because of the emotion won't allow you to say that, oh, I get it. I'm gonna use myself for an example. When I first started playing around, making LLCs, trying to start a business, part of it was me because I was more introvert than I am now, extrovert. Another part of me, I didn't have enough knowledge to really know how to move and navigate. That's why I think knowledge is important. Education is important. Education in the right things that give you the advantage. Very important. I don't care what nobody say. Very important. Not having enough knowledge to know how to make those steps. This is before ChatGPT. This is before AI. This is when you really had to get it out the mud, or you had to know somebody. Now, there's so many tools out there now that can help you do stuff that you don't have to really have a lot of those moving parts like having a developer or having a programmer. You can do all that in ChatGPT if you know how to prompt it. Let me know in the comments what you think before you get into politicians and debate. Like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Before you get into politics, you have to make sure that you're solid. You have to make sure that you're solid. Whatever side you choose, I don't think you have to choose a side. That's just my opinion. I think you have to find what makes sense. Who has the best policies based on your ideals, based on what you want to see happen. But even in that, and we'll talk about that later, a lot of times we call it selling dreams. Politicians sell dreams. They're going to do this, this, and this, knowing that if you don't have a backing, if you're not part of the clique, what you're saying will never happen. But we'll get into that later. I'm talking about you as an individual. Before you get into politics, you better make sure you're solid. You better make sure you're educated. You better make sure you got some kind of certification or diploma. You better make sure that the path that you're going down, that you have the skills to navigate that path and get to the end of that path, whatever it may be. You're going to find out that a lot of times you are where you are based on your decisions that you're made when you was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Those, when you're in high school, 15 to 17 or 18, you have a lot of free time. What you do with that free time will tell over time. Your results speak volumes for what you do, what you're thinking about, what you're invested in. Can't stress it enough. Working a job with no post education is risky. Every time the years go by, I'm just telling you from my own opinion, it gets even more riskier. It allows companies to not pay you or circumvent paying you because they always use that as a crutch. Well, if you had your bachelor's degree, if you had this degree, we could pay you more. But you have to have a positive outlook and an optimistic perspective that if I do the work, if I put in the work, my value will increase and I will be able to capitalize on my value. And this is before you get into politics. Make sure that you're solid. Make sure that not only are you solid, make sure to learn how to research things and not just take people's word for face value. Not just politicians, but anybody you deal with in the world. You got to be able to know different things. So, if you just work out of high school, because this is what I did, if you don't take care of that business on the front end, it'll catch up with you on the back end, like it did me. When I graduated high school, I wanted to do so many things, but I never narrowed it down. I wanted to be a massage therapist. I wanted to own something or start my own business. And there's others, but those are the main two things. I learned a lot really quick by just trial and error. Starting a business is tough because you have to find something that people are gonna buy, like that you can sell. Whether it's products, whether it's something tangible or something digital, you have to find something that has value that you can give to somebody for cash. We'll talk about that later. But let me know in the comments, what should a person do before they get into politics and debates? What you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you believe in politics, especially local? Let me know in the comments. Yo, this is Mike, CTM. Be coming at you with some more talks like this. Really want to talk about before you get into politics, you have to make sure that you're solid. You have to make sure that you have skills. And if you really want to, you got the will or the drive, find that hustle, find that thing that you can do that you can make cash off of, even with having a job. You want to have multiple streams of income. So, with that being said, I'm about to get off this thing. Getting late. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you on, I guess, Random Talk. Mike Talks, I guess. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. Thanks for watching.